Hi there, I'm Katrina Boss, and I'd like to share two things with you today. The first is a question and an idea that is rolling around in my head very deeply these days. And the second is, in all full disclosure, how I realize this question rolls into a program that I teach called the Living Masters Yoga Teacher Training. And I just want to say that because these two things truly do go together. And I didn't want to share them separately, but I didn't want to share some big philosophical concept and then, rook you into a training or something. But at the same time, I'm actually super excited about how they weave together. So I just wanted to share that because I didn't want to be selling you something. And it doesn't matter. I mean, there's a million ways to realize, what it is I want to share. So it began reading from the Radiant Sutras, which is a beautiful translation of an ancient tantric text called the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. And this is a beautiful translation by Lauren Roche. And we read from it every Monday on Insight Timer, a really cool free app that I teach on all the time. And it's a conversation between Devi and Bhairava, or the human and God, or the physical and the non-physical, or however you understand that. And Devi is really confused. She's just like, what is this world all about? Like, is it real? Is it the physical world that's real? Or is it the energetic world that's real? Like, is the immanent, like the physical day-to-day reality important? Or the transcendent? Is that the only thing that's real? I mean, after all, we're really just energy molecules banging into each other, or not really banging into each other, but we're appearing as real. So in many ways, we're just energy. So are we even physical? Like, what's going on? And Bhairava replies, and I want to read you the reply, and because who knows, maybe you'll get a different message out of it. Bhairava replies, "Beloved, your questions touch the heart of wonder, the path of intimacy with all life, weaving together body and soul, sex and spirit, individuality and universality. This is my cave of secrets. Your inquiry has led you here. I feel your fingers on my pulse. Come with me. Leave behind everything you know. The teachings about me are a light show put on by the celestial musicians, as beautiful and insubstantial as clouds." What intrigues me about this is that as a spiritual seeker, we always seem to have this idea that, we practice, we study, we train, we pray, we meditate, we do the yoga, we do all these things. And that sometimes we believe that there's some master out there that holds the secrets. That at one time we're going to find that book that we're going to open up, we're going to go, I found the secret teachings. I teach Tantra. It's like, what are the secret teachings of Tantra? And one of the most annoying things about studying Tantra is you'll always be told you learn through experience. It's not just a teaching. You have to actually live it. And intellectually we can say, yeah, we have to be good people, and yeah, I get it. But what are the teachings? And what's really interesting about this particular passage is what Bhairava is saying is that it is your questions that are leading you here. Your questions are leading you into the cave of secrets. So then the question becomes, where is this cave of secrets? Is it on the earth? Is it in heaven? Or is it right here? And I know we say things like this all the time, but what if every secret teaching, all the truths we seek about the universe, really are in here? And it's the questioning and the journeying that brings us there. So for example, if we consider, is the physical reality real, or is the transcendent reality real, you're never going to get an answer. This is an impossible question. It's almost like a Buddhist koan or something. But as we hold these realities separate, we swim in the middle. And it's in the middle that we find the truth. It's not necessarily going to be able to be spoken, but we will feel it as we push and pull between these opposite shores. When we go through life and we see strange things that don't add up, ideas that we've been taught as children that don't really make sense in the world, and they're not even true, but then what is the truth? This is sort of that spiritual journey. Because this is where we imagine that as human beings, we are actually perfection inside. Like we have these chakras inside that are pure energy, right? There's nothing wrong with them. But then we have this curious world that we are living in. So in order to live here, in order to interact, we have developed adaptations, maybe based on pain or based on the constructs of the society we live in, or based on the desire for success. We've created all of this construct out here. Well, as long as we live in the construct, we don't get to the secret. We don't actually get to live the secrets of life because we're 100% caught up in these constructs. And this is where it's so interesting to actually do the practices that the gurus teach, right? The gurus don't actually give us the answer. They say, go away and meditate. Go away and do this yoga. I remember I had a friend once, and she traveled all the way to India, like 40 years ago from the United States, and she wanted to have an answer, right? She wanted to have that practice that was going to change everything. And he said, okay, I'm going to give you a very special mudra. And he gave her Gyan mudra, the most common mudra that we're ever taught in yoga. He said, sit with this and meditate like this for an hour every day for a year, and then come back to me. And she was like, what? That's not what I wanted. But imagine you actually did it. And imagine the frustration and the confusion and the questioning that would happen, right? This confusion and this frustration is what leads us to the Cave of Secrets. Because eventually we start to drop the constructs. We start to drop our attachment to what's going on in the drama of the world. And we start to come inside. And then Bhairava says, I love this part. He says, come with me. Leave behind everything you know. The teachings about me are a light show put on by the celestial musicians, as beautiful and insubstantial as clouds. And this is very, very interesting. When you imagine the teachings, right? They are insubstantial. They are not the truth. They are just maybe guideposts. They're just something that says, go this way. But they are never the point. The point is always inside here. So this is where I segue into this realization I had about this yoga training. And again, your yoga might be anything. The way that you balance these opposites to find your truths could be running marathons. It could be doing all kinds of things. So it's not like you have to do this yoga or something, obviously. But I've been teaching Kundalini yoga for about 15 years. And I've been teaching yoga teacher trainings in Kundalini yoga for probably since about 2010. And what I love about the teacher trainings is that these are these opportunities to really go deep and really do the yoga, right? You go deep, whether you're doing it in person in a weekend workshop format, or the way we're doing it now, which is online in your home, which weirdly enough is the most powerful way I've ever taught this training. I can't even tell you how transformative it is. But it gives us this opportunity and this safe container to really dive in to the center of these opposites, what I've been taught, what makes me happy, what my truth is, what other people want me to be. And we do this yoga, this Kundalini yoga, which I love because I have a very active mind. And so I need to be moving, and I need to be chanting, and I need to be doing breath work. And I need to do it all at the same time, or else my mind is going to go off and be thinking about other things. And I'm not going to dive into that depth that's inside of me. So the Kundalini yoga, when we do it, when we have a regular practice, it transforms us because it annoys us. It stimulates our organs and it releases stored emotions and difficulty and trauma. And it continues to process so that we stop being stuck in this swirly construct of life. And I find it the most magical yoga. I mean, Russell Brand, he talks about it when he was getting over his addictions. And he said, yoga's great. He said, but Kundalini yoga is like a rocket ship in your own journey. And this is what I found. And the other interesting thing is, so in the last year or so last year we ran the same program that I've taught many times, that we did it all online, which I didn't know how that would go, but it turned out to be amazing because you have teaching videos that are pre-recorded that are all about philosophy, kind of looking at all of these different ways of looking at the world, almost setting us up for this more expanded reality, not telling us what to believe, but expanding it so that we can go, really, like pondering even quantum reality, yoga for sure, and philosophy, but everything about life, like what are all the different ends of it, right? Then we study the different kinds of yoga kriyas, the different yoga processes, and I create these audio recordings that you then, in the quiet of your own home, you just turn on the audio recording, and I lead you through it. For the people who did the yoga every day or really regularly, they would come to class. So then we would have a class every week that we would just talk. It was just a discussion, question, Q&A, and a chance to meet each other and chat. They just reported, like, I can't believe the difference in my life. Like, I'm having realizations left and right. I'm quieter, I'm calmer, my mind is still. I understand things. People don't bother me like they used to bother me. Like, I just can't believe the difference. And at the end of the 7 months, they were like, I just don't even recognize myself. I'm just so much happier. And then there's lots of people who, for whatever reason, don't get a chance to do the yoga, or maybe they've got blocks about doing the yoga, or just struggles and challenges. Like, for whatever reason, in this time, the daily yoga didn't happen. And for these guys, great things also happened. The community of friends was amazing. The realization that there are really great people in the world asking similar questions. And very often, all of these things become seeds that are planted that then happen much later. And then we actually start to do the yoga at a different time, or we meditate, or we do something, or maybe we join something that then is our opportunity to do the yoga. But this is what really struck me. And this is what I'm realizing, that right now in the year 2022, it's like our consciousness is so ready for this. It's ready to release those old ideas, release the pain, release the ideas of our parents and our grandparents and society even, and say, I want access to the truth. I want to get inside the cave of secrets. I want to know, what's this life really all about? I'm ready. And so this is what really excites me about this training. And again, I feel very funny teaching this idea and promoting a training. And I really chewed about this before I made this video, but in the end, this is how it turned out. Because it's such a beautiful container to really do this yoga and to really play inside these opposites in our lives and really access that cave of secrets inside. And this excites me to no end. So if this interests you, please check out this program. It's called the Living Masters. It's a yoga teacher training through, and it's certified through Yoga Alliance. But most people who do it, they don't actually go on to teach. They do it for exactly this reason, for this deep dive into self. And it's just the most amazing people gather together to do it. And the reason it's called the Living Masters is because that's who we are. We really are masters inside. And as we release things, we get to really stand in that mastery and live in an entirely different way than our forefathers and foremothers ever did. That we really get to stand in that truth, make decisions from a space of neutrality and wisdom, as opposed to from karma and suffering. So it's a very, very interesting time. If you ever have any questions about this training, please contact me at katrina@katrinaboss.ca, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have. So thank you so much for sharing in this idea and allowing me this opportunity to also share this program that may work for you, or maybe it simply plants a seed that oh, you know what, there's this other thing that I'd love to do. I feel called to that. I think that will be my transformational tool. So, trusting our inner wisdom, thank you so much for being here.